What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we need to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, this upcoming week is going to be another crazy roller coaster. A lot of Fed speakers throughout the week, even Powell on Tuesday, and he is going to be talking on some pretty touchy subjects, as you can kind of see right there. And then aside from that, on Thursday, CPI, and then Friday there is PPI. So pretty much everything I just mentioned in one way or another, the market is going to be interpreting whether it's good for potential rate cuts or not. I think clearly CPI is going to be a big one, but as of right now for the September 18th meeting, there is a 72% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So despite payrolls coming out on Friday a little bit better than anticipated, I think that sparked some fear. It didn't really move this whatsoever. So that's kind of a positive thing, but 5.9% of a likelihood of a 50 basis point cut, which would be absolutely epic for the broader market. Going into this upcoming week, you do see the fear and greed index at 54. So people's appetite for risk is going to be somewhat there, so that could really stand to benefit SoFi and many other stocks. So far, there isn't anything planned for SoFi, and typically what does happen is SoFi goes in this kind of blackout period. They don't put out any news, nothing like that. So don't anticipate anything substantial to come out from SoFi from now up until their earnings, which I think right now, a lot of people are even questioning whether there is going to be that FOMO rally that SoFi typically does have leading into their earnings. Because given the stock performance, I think just the sentiment is very, very low. It could happen, which most likely, if anything, it would be closer to the last week. So last week of July, most likely. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. Last earnings, so you did see abnormally, I don't know why or the basis of it, but some analysts were giving ratings right before the actual earnings, and which is kind of backwards if you think about it, but it did happen. So there might be that similar scenario happening this time around. So analysts might be giving some pretty positive ratings. We'll just have to wait and see. But this right here, this kind of surge, a lot of them did already give new ratings since then, so it kind of altered it. But there was a good like 3 or 4 that just randomly gave very bullish ratings, mind you. I think this was one of them, 14, 11, or whatever else. So I don't know, that would be pretty kick-ass. And while I'm actually on 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, latest Elliott wave technicals, I know a lot of people generally do like that. It does have a pivot point of $6.17. So for as long as SoFi is above that, it is anticipated to get to kind of the low to mid $7 range. So at least going into this upcoming week, the technicals are looking fairly good, but I think at this stage in the game, just a lot of people are really questioning whether there's going to be that kind of FOMO rally for SoFi. One thing that I did find interesting, and this is in regards to shorts. So shorts probably going to be very, very active this week, dependent on some of the results of what is happening from the speeches, as well as CPI. Currently, 18.42% of the free float is being shorted. So that is very, very high, but there's this that did come out. And I think SoFi is literally the poster boy of this scenario, because this right here did say JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and 7 mega banks paying $46 million, which is kind of a drop in the bucket if you think about it, over alleged conspiracy to rig trillion-dollar derivatives market. What do I bring up almost every single Friday? And what did happen with SoFi? Once again, right here on Friday, manipulation. So in case you guys do not know, options is a form of derivatives. So obviously it doesn't list SoFi anywhere in here. SoFi is not receiving any of this money, but SoFi definitely does get massively like manipulated to a T through its options. And so yeah, it's a very, very messed up scenario. Happens over the last 3 months. Like SoFi's only been able to beat shorts essentially, and just clearly these entities right here once, I think it was, and that was last week, which was deserving of a round of applause. But still, I don't think it's also any coincidence that a lot of these kind of entities right here are direct competition to SoFi. So once again, Anthony, hopefully this earnings will just say fuck, yeah, so you guys get what I'm saying. Just F the shorts, I don't know if he can actually outright say F these guys as well. Specifically, probably be better and safer just to say F shorts. But yeah, I feel like at this stage in the game, like Anthony does need to step up on that role. I know he's doing a fairly well-rounded job of being a CEO, but that aspect I feel like does need to change. But regardless, that's not really going to influence this week. Well, maybe it might, because as of right now, looking at the open interest, currently you do see 8,000 at that 650 strike price. That's an open interest, 20,000 at that 7, and then 10,000 at that 750. Typically, first trading day, this does jump up by a good about 40%. So anticipate that to be around that 12,000 range, give or take. And then dependent on the performance, especially SoFi's really close to this strike price, you might see shorts kind of active to ensure that it does go down. You do see 2,000 at that 6, but that's not really enough to really incentivize shorts to push SoFi below 6. So I think this is going to be another week that it is the battle of 650. Hopefully the Elliott Wave technicals do come to fruition and it does kind of push to that $7 range, but we'll just have to wait and see. Clearly, there is a lot of entities out there that is hell-bent on really pushing SoFi down, which if you think about it, I think just based on the manipulation alone from SoFi's market cap has dropped more than this 46 million, and that's just one entity. You can already imagine how much they've actually done. Well, actually it says to rig $1 trillion derivatives market. So clearly, it was with, I don't know, GameStop, AMC, a lot of tinfoil hat people think it's associated to them, but we do know firsthand that it happens every single week with SoFi. So something to kind of keep in mind. Right now with it closing at $6.47 on Friday, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So just watch for 639 to be that next strong support. It did bounce off of that general area on Friday, so just watch for that to continue to hold. And then $6.52 is going to be the next strong resistance / target, and that's over and above 650, which is associated to options. So we do have another week that a lot of heavy resistance is above us. Hopefully, again, the data that does come out this week and Powell doesn't really scare or spook the broader market is enough to really push it higher. But as of right now, just take note of some of the strong resistance points. So 6.66, 674, and then 687. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you have been selling. What have you been doing with SoFi over this last little bit? Hopefully everyone's having a good weekend thus far. And with all that though, appreciate all of you watching.